Hey guys, welcome back to Bearded Lumber. Got something a little different today. By the time you see this video, it will be a year since we turned our wood Mizer KD 250 kiln on. So we thought it was a good time to maybe do a 1 year review. I'm gonna stop right there and we'll be right back. Hang on. Okay guys, welcome back. Like I said, we greatly appreciate you watching. If you got any interest in the kiln, we're going to try to go over the good, the bad, the ugly, what we like, what we dislike, what we should have done different, if we build another, what we will do different. Let me start off by saying, if you don't have one of these and you can put it in your budget, it's a great addition to your sawmill. Like I say, we're a year from turning it on, and probably a year and a half from starting building it. But in a year, we've completed 26 runs, and I could go back and look, tell you how many is pine, how many is oak, whatever, but altogether, it's cycled 26 times. It's only shut down for 1 week. Last November, we took a little vacation to Florida, and we shut it down for a week. Other than that, it's, end the cycle, let it cool off 24 hours, 24 hours, unload it, turn it back on, just constant. And we've got work lined up through Christmas this year already. Some of it's custom work, a lot of it's my work. I need to get inventory sawed and dried. So it has been a great asset to our sawmill. And if you watch our channel, you know we're getting a motor planer. Well, we have no power over here this morning because the electrician is wiring in our 480 3-phase to single-phase transformer, so the power shut off. But we'll have it back shortly. That being said, this is a great asset for the motor planer because you can't run that motor planer without having, super dried air dried wood, and I still recommend kiln drying it for one reason: to get it up above 135 degrees. If there's any bugs, any kind of pests or eggs, larvae in there, they're dead, because you don't want to introduce that into your house, because then it's in your house and you're going to have to deal with it. So you
pine, it stabilizes the resin.
Yeah, the pine, the higher you get pine, 145, 150, the pine rosin, it crystallizes, and when you go to sand it or run it through your machine, it will not turn back into a pine rosin until you get above the highest temperature that this machine took it to. So if I take it to 150 degrees, you're going to have to be above 150 degrees sanding before to gum up your sandpaper, just so you know. Like I said, it's been a great asset to our sawmill. I knew when we went full-time sawmilling, I wanted one of these. It's the first thing we built, and it was in conjunction with the motor planer. I had a 3-step process I wanted: sawmilling, kiln drying, and finished product, and we're almost to the third one. But let's focus on our kiln. I love it. It was a big expense, people. Just buying the kiln is the beginning of your purchase. Okay, if you buy a can, a ready-to-go can, you're what, $60,000, $70,000, $80,000, like a refrigerated trailer, if you buy one ready to go. And that only includes your electrical. You still got to get your primary in, whether you have to pull a new meter, pull a new service, whatever. We got a good bit of money in the ground running power over here to this service. So all that's got to be included. But it will, in the right market, give you a good return on your investment. Now, the kiln itself has worked flawlessly. We haven't had any issues. Heats up, dries wood like it's supposed to. The connectors, they could be a little bit more rugged. They are easily repaired. We've had to repair a couple of them, but if you step on them the wrong way or whatever, you can, break the coating on the wires. So you got to be careful of that. That's probably about the only thing I'd knock them on. That the terminals we're talking about these. you know, they could be a little heavier duty. And if I have to replace them one day, I'll replace them with something heavier duty. Wood Mizer as well as Nile sell these. That's one reason this hole is not spray foamed. If we want to replace it all the way back to the computer, we can just pull it out and replace it. Or you can just, you know, replace the ends. You can see this one's been fixed. This one's been fixed. They take a lot of abuse. So, functionality, it's worked perfect. No issues. There was some learning curve at the beginning. I wasn't real happy with kind of the process, the length of time it took to heat up. But since then, it don't heat up near as bad because we keep it going. It goes cycle to cycle to cycle. You're better off if you get one of these to never let it turn off. You know, it ends a cycle like this morning. It was 140 plus degrees. I normally I'd let it cool off till tomorrow, but Matthew wasn't going to be here, so I cracked the door, turned the fans on, and over a couple hours I slowly brought the temperature down. What was it, 110 probably when you open the door? So it wasn't a super shock. Now in the wintertime, you absolutely don't want to do that. Open the door at 140 degrees and hit 35 outside. That's too much of a temperature variance. But the quicker you can cycle this thing, the concrete's still warm, you know, the walls are still warm, all the metal's still warm. It takes less time for this package to bring it back up to the appropriate temperature to where it started evacuating water. So that was a learning curve on my part. I thought it was real slow from the beginning, but I was bringing a building up from, that was in September. You know, it wasn't cold, but the concrete's cold, the ground under the concrete's cold, everything was cold. It took like almost 2 days to get it up to temperature, but I hadn't had that issue since. Yeah, dealing with Wood Mizer, their package is great. No issues, you know, little improvements you can make here and there. Now let's talk about the box, the Kiln box. This is a Kiln package. You buy that from Wood Mizer. You get the condensing unit, the heat unit, all your probes, the fans. That comes with 2. I got 6, and I'd recommend putting it in as many as you can afford, at least 5 or 6, depending on the size of your kiln. You won't regret it. That and the computer in the back, that's what you get in the box. Nothing more. And the power vent over here in the corner. And there's a manual vent over in that corner. That's what comes in the box. The rest of this we built. You know, we had a guy pour the slab. We built the building around it, framed the walls, had Jamie Wampler spray foam it, and we put plastic vapor barrier. Then we got 1/2-inch drywall or plywood, and then it's covered in cool seal. Try to keep moisture out. The box performs great. The doors were a little bit issue. The first set of seals we put on the bottom of the doors were garbage. They didn't work, and we never did film it. But we put like a garage door seal when the door, you know, closes down. It's got a little compression. It works great. It works great. Good enough for what we're doing. I'm sure you get a little heat loss here and there, but it's not detrimental. I'm happy with the box. A couple little upgrades we would do around the bottom. Every now and then, when you do pine, you won't have this problem with oak. Oak, the water don't come out that fast. But with pine and poplar, when this unit starts running and the heat comes up, you can pull more moisture out than this unit can evaporate. And it's about 30 gallons a day. So if you pull out 35 gallons of water out of the wood, well, it's in the air volume, and the next thing it's going to do is going to condense and it ends up on the floor. One change I will make when we do another kiln, or if you're doing one, is I put at least a 2-inch concrete curb all the way around here and kind of build it like a bathtub to where the water is not trying to find its way underneath your seal plate. Because you are going to have water. It just happens. Ain't nothing you can do about it. You can run it slow, real slow, but that's detrimental to what you want to do with pine. Pine wants to be run fast. It wants to be run hard. You want to take it from wet to dry as quick as possible to stop the mold and mildew. So that would be the big change I would make. I would put at least a 2-inch concrete curb all the way around and set my seal plate on it. The second thing I would do is the thing they don't recommend. I'd put in a floor drain. I understand why they don't recommend it, because you can't track the water that's going down the floor drain. But if I build what's similar to a bathtub and I catch the water and I plug my drain, I come in here and I can say there's 5 gallons of water on the floor. Pull the plug, evacuate that water, put the plug back in. That's 5 gallons of water this machine didn't have to suck out. It just went right out the drain. Like I say, they don't recommend you do that, but when I build another kiln, it will have a floor drain and everything will pitch to it, because I know running this one long enough that you will get water on the floor. We got a shop vac in the back, and if it gets too bad, we'll come in here with a shop vac and suck up 4 or 5 gallons of water, get it up off the floor to ease up on the machine so it don't have to evacuate. What else?
Door.
Oh yeah, if you build a kiln, even if you build like a container kiln, I highly recommend an entry door, because you don't want to open these big doors. When you close them up, you don't want to open them back up until you're done. But you can have a 3-foot entry door in the side or the back of your kiln, and this is great for a couple reasons. First of all, peace of mind. I can walk in here. I don't do it every day. I've been doing it for a year now, so I don't walk in every day. But I did at the beginning, because I want to know how the wood was drying, if I was seeing any signs of warping, cracking, different things. And you got a water bottle over there. Well, that water bottle needs to be filled up. Now on a 10-day run, you don't need to touch it. But if you're running 35, 40 days on hardwoods, you will need to add water to that, because it will start to run low. But it adds peace of mind. I can walk in here, I can check temperatures, I can check the condition of the wood. Most of the time it's checking the condition of the wood and see if the floor is covered in water as well. So this is a good addition. Lights, we got some, I turn them on, but we don't have no power. We got 2 LED lights. No, it's not bright enough to work on your car, but it keeps from tripping over your own 2 feet walking in here. Anything else we do different?
Change those locations.
Yeah, we put some, I guess you call them boat winches here to get our air dam up and down. It probably would have been better if I'd have mounted them over here instead of right at the door, because they can, this one's not too bad, but the one over there, the handle sticks out this way, so it narrows your door opening up a little bit. Just things you learn. If you want to do 20-foot stuff, build a bigger kiln. Our doors are exactly 20 foot.
You can draw on the scratches.
Yeah.
That's from loading 20-foot stuff.
Yeah. We were, I took a job doing some 20-footers for a guy, and not saying I won't do it again, but I will raise the price, because there's a lot of aggravation there, because they got to come in at an angle, set it down, pick up the other side, and square it up. It don't happen often. In a year, we've done 2 runs of 20-footers. So, and I would do it again, but there'll be an increase for the aggravation. The air dams, I see a lot of kilns that use like canvas, whatever. I'm not a big fan of that. The steel, I like the steel ones because they don't warp, they don't bend, and they act as a good heat sink. They hold heat.
And they also give down weight.
And they got enough weight. When you set these down on your stack of lumber, you want to make sure your cable's loose, because your stack will shrink. You know, you got to imagine, we normally do like 15 layers and 15 stickers, and then another 15 layers, and that includes 15 stickers. Each one of these is going to shrink up a 1/16, even the sticker, unless it's a dried sticker already. A lot of times they're wet. So you can imagine you bored a 1/16, your sticker all the way down the line, you add up 60 1/16.
2-3 inches.
Yeah, 2 or 3 inches. That stack will literally shrink, and it'll do it on the width. We use the cloth binders because I like them. They're retensionable. Actually, when we unloaded the kiln this morning, every one of the bundles I put the tensioner on and tightened them back up, because they were as tight as I could get them. We put them in here, and then you could just take the string and, you know, the cloth webbing and wiggle it. So to make it easier loading and unloading, we retension them, and away they go. What else? Trying to think as we go here. We got a little issue with the door sagging. We're going to address that. You know, we got a 20-foot header there, and that's a big wide opening. So that'll be, we'll cover that in the video sometime later. We'll probably go above it and add some beam or whatever, pull it back up. Just
Our custom built doors are great.
yeah, the metal doors we did. If you go back and watch their build video, Matthew and I built these. He spent hours and hours on his hands and knees welding. They work out great. The spray foam's done great in them. Had one little section here. For some reason it shrunk up a little bit. Must have done it on this last cycle. You can see it right here where it's opened up a little bit. We'll get a can of some rigid spray foam. Fill that back up. What else? Electrical, hadn't had any issue with electrical. Now, over here, we did have to make one improvement on your power vent. They didn't suggest insulating it, but we were having, you can see all the condensation we were getting early on. So we went back and wrapped it in 2-inch foam, and that stopped the condensation off of that. Anything else in the box? The fans. I will tell you something about the fans. I use, when we're doing pine, my goal is to get it to 120 degrees and 75% on the, or 75 degrees on the wet bulb. As soon as you get above that 75 on the wet bulb, it starts pulling water out. Now, in the summertime, I do more controlling of the heat with these fans than I do with this vent. And reason being, I don't like that vent running when it's at 95 degrees and 75% humidity, because when it exhausts hot, humid air, it just sucks hot, humid back in. So with 6 fans, once it gets up to kind of desired temperature, I'll start clicking off 1, 2, or 3 of them, lower the fan volume, because that fan generates heat. If you read your manual, it'll tell you when you get to 110 degrees, you can turn the compressor off, because the heat in the compressor and the heat of these fans will keep the box up to temperature if properly insulated. Now, it don't work so good in the wintertime because, you know, you got cold weather trying to affect you, but you can still click one fan off and try to maintain your hot temp without having to exhaust your hot air and bring in cool air that you got to reheat. So, just, you got to learn. I mean, your box will be different than mine. It'll be bigger, it'll be smaller, it'll be longer, wider, taller, whatever. Be insulated different, and, you know, that's why they write a very generic manual, because your box is different than everybody else's. Anything, like I say, my biggest gripe is that curb. I wish we had poured a 2-inch curb around here and I wouldn't have any issues. Now, we don't have any lights in the back, but we'll try to show you what we can with it. Okay, guys, we're in the back hallway. Really nothing back here to talk about. Everything functions as should. They send you 6 switches, or they send you a switch with each fan you buy. And I'll tell you, they're a pain in the butt to wire up, because there's a lot going in this can. But you want individual control on each fan. You don't want one switch, turn them all on or off. You want to be able to control each one, because that controls your airflow. You can control your heat, your airflow, as well as when you put this unit in sterilization mode. I normally run 1 or 2 fans only in sterilization, because you know the effect of compressing air. When you compress air through that fan, it cools, and then it's, you know, as it expands, it cools. So you're just making it harder for the unit to heat up. So normally I'll turn down to 1 or 2 fans and let this heat up to 145, 150 degrees and do its thing. The unit works flawlessly, hadn't had any issues. All the electrical works as should. Now, we don't like to go get tools, so we got an extra Milwaukee drill that we keep over here, and a little impact driver. We use all the wood screws we need, put in our temperature probes. I got a little Milwaukee light that's handy. Even though we got lights in there, if you want to look at something specifically, you can carry the light in there and look real close. Because I don't carry a flashlight on me, Matthew does. I got a couple thermometers. One of them in there is the old coil spring. I don't trust it real well. The old bulb thermometer works good. I just can't find one above 120 degrees. So when I go to sterilize, I normally pull it out. And they also have a relative humidity meter, and this is a handy tool, people. Right now, it's saying 50% back here in the back room. I'll put it in that box, and I can come back and check it tonight when it first starts running, and it'll be up 85, 90% humidity. And you can know more about your cycle by watching this humidity meter and the amount of water coming out. I can tell before this machine tells me that we're about done, because it'll start off and the water will ramp up and it'll get to 30 gallons a day and it'll hold. And as soon as you see that water dip, you know, instead of 30 gallons a day, you're 28, 27, 26. You know you're getting close to the end of the cycle. And if you watch this, you can see your relative humidity going down as well. Just things you learn. I highly recommend keeping a logbook. We've got every run. If I want to go back and reference it, say I got a run that's taking too long, man, why is it taking too long? Well, what's the last time I run that species? I can go back and look at my book, and I got a day, twice a day, I document what the temperature is, you know, wet bulb, dry bulb, relative humidity, and I can go back and look and see, yeah, that's about what that last cycle took, you know, just a little peace of mind. Nothing wrong with having extra paperwork. Comes from a corporate life. You learn to write things down. Anything else back here, Matthew?
Not that I know of.
I think that's about it, guys. I mean, I know you got questions. Drop them in the comment section. I'll try my best to answer them. I do not regret spending the money on this kiln. It was a large amount of money. I joke, people ask about it. I said, well, before I started writing it down on paper, and I got up to a big number about halfway through, and I wadded the paper up and threw it away. I knew if I kept adding, I wouldn't get it done. So just know up front, you need to write this down and kind of figure out what your budget's going to be, because it tripled what I thought the budget would be. There's a lot going on here, people. Buying the kiln package is just the beginning. You know, you got concrete, you got a building, the electrical. This electrical gets outrageously expensive, because you can't use house wiring in this kiln. You can't use 12-2 Romex. All this is a copper twist. It's got something to do with the heat. And once this wire goes into that kiln, it is in conduit from here to the motor. And all that conduit is time, aggravation, and money. It all adds up.
If you gotta pay somebody,
yeah, if you gotta hire an electrician to do all this work, you better really step up your budget. Now, Matthew and I did all the wiring. We won't say any more about that, but we did all the wiring. It's just single phase, 120 volt stuff. Now, I'm paying an electrician this morning, but he's doing 400 amp 3-phase, and I ain't got no business touching it, okay? Yeah, like I say, if you got any questions, let me know. This is not for everybody. Not every sawmill needs one. I know a lot of guys, you bought a wood miser, and you're just kind of getting into the mobile milling for yourself. You do not have to go to this level. And I didn't plan on it when I bought my mill. I just wanted a side hustle, doing some mobile milling. Kept me and Matthew busy for years. He got out of the military. We pilled around on weekdays, go mobile milling on weekends. But we got a hobby that got out of hand. But we're very fortunate. It supports my family as well as Matthew. You know, we try to make a living at it. You don't have to do this. And if you don't want to, that's fine. Find somebody in your local area like me that has one. I'm more than happy to drive for anybody. Now, if they got a kiln load, that's even better. We're getting ready to load it up this morning. Half of it's for a good sawmill customer of mine. He sawed it. I'm going to dry it, plane it, get it back to him. He's going to give it to his customer, and everybody's happy. But he's got about half a kiln load, and I'm going to fill up the other half with my wood. And I do that a lot. You just got to, you know, make friends with your local mill guy that has a kiln, and they're glad to work it in, because you know what? The money you give them helps offset the power bill.
Yeah, that's the other big thing, power bill.
These things come with a power bill, people. Let me tell you, it's going to be different in every region of the country based on your kilowatt charge. But yeah, you better do some budgeting for your power bill. It's no joke. You can do 2 or 3 houses, sometimes 4 houses on what this thing will run. but it makes money if it runs. So I think we're gonna leave it there. I mean, if you got questions, concerns, drop them in the comment section. I'll be glad to answer them. Wood-Mizer is a great resource. If you get a hold of your local Wood-Mizer guy, I guarantee you he knows who in your area has bought one of these, because they don't sell a lot of them. I know a guy's got one right now for sale. He bought it secondhand from the guy that bought it and never installed it, and this guy's never installed it, because this part is the easy part. The rest of this is what'll take you 6 months of figuring it out and making it. And this is a daily job. I check this twice a day. If I'm not here, Matthew's got to check it. If we're both not here, it's got to be turned off, because there ain't nobody else around that understands anything about it. So if we decide to take a week's vacation, I'll probably just shut it off for a week, because I don't have anybody else that can understand what's going on here. So that's going to do it, guys. We greatly appreciate you watching. Like I say, we get tons of new people watching, new subscribers. If I hadn't said it, my name's Eric and Matthew. We're the Bearded Lumber crew. And Solomon. If y'all hadn't checked out Solomon's channel, Third Beard Fishing, he calls it the Third Beard because he's my son-in-law, and he is a former Army grunt, bearded to the max, and he does a good job with his fishing channel. Y'all give him a check out. They also run 525 Designs. They'll do logos. He did our logo for us. I ain't got one on this morning, but for Bearded Lumber and all. That's going to do it, guys. We greatly appreciate you watching, and we'll see you back at the mill.
Thank you for watching. Here's a video selection and a playlist suggestion. Click here to subscribe for more great content. We'll see you at the mill.